You know how sometimes you just don't feel quite yourself and you rack your brain trying to figure out why?
Yeah, definitely.
We often look at the big things, diet, exercise, sleep. But what if we told you we're going to dive into something, well, a bit less obvious today, something that can really impact your overall well-being?
That's right. We tend to think of our health in separate boxes, but it's all connected. And today, we're exploring a really interesting example of that connection.
What are we looking at?
We're focusing on vaginal health, specifically in the context of Turner syndrome. Maybe not the first thing that springs to mind when you think about genetics, right?
Exactly. Now, some listeners might know about Turner syndrome. It's a genetic condition in women, involves a missing or partially missing X chromosome.
Mm-hmm.
And often the talk is about, say, shorter stature or maybe ovarian issues, which can mean lower estrogen.
Right. Those are the more commonly discussed aspects.
But what we really want to dig into today is how this condition specifically affects vaginal health. It feels like an important piece that doesn't always get the spotlight it deserves.
Absolutely.
So our mission here is to really understand those impacts and look at some proactive ways to manage things based on our sources.
Okay, so let's start with the basics. Estrogen. It's a hugely influential hormone, right? It affects so much.
Definitely.
And for vaginal health, it's absolutely crucial. You could almost think of estrogen as like the main regulator for that specific environment.
Okay, main regulator like that. So what exactly does estrogen do down there when levels are normal? How does it keep things running smoothly?
Well, first off, lubrication. Estrogen is key for keeping vaginal tissues moist. That's vital for comfort, just day to day, and obviously for intimacy, too.
Makes sense.
It also plays a big part in elasticity, keeping those tissues supple, resilient. And beyond that, it supports the actual integrity, the strength of the vaginal tissue itself. And maybe one of the most interesting parts is how it helps maintain a balanced vaginal microbiome.
A microbiome there too, like the gut.
Exactly like the gut. Your vagina has its own little ecosystem of beneficial bacteria. Estrogen helps create an acidic environment, sort of encourages the good guys, like lactobacillus bacteria, to thrive.
Ah, lactobacillus.
Yeah, they're the protective ones. They help keep the pH low, which naturally keeps less friendly bacteria and yeast from taking over. It's quite a delicate balance, and estrogen is key to maintaining it.
Okay, so estrogen acts like a conductor for this whole vaginal orchestra, keeping everything in harmony.
Mm.
But what happens when estrogen levels are lower, like often happens with Turner syndrome? How does that disrupt things?
Right. This is where we see some pretty significant changes.
Yeah.
That reduced estrogen directly impacts all those functions we just mentioned. So first, less lubrication means increased dryness. The tissues can get thinner, produce less moisture. That often leads to itching, discomfort, maybe even pain during sex. The term is dyspareunia. And that dryness also makes the tissues more fragile, more prone to tiny tears, which unfortunately can be little gateways for infections.
That makes sense. If it's dry and less stretchy, irritation seems almost inevitable. What else gets thrown off?
Well, another major thing is the change in pH in the microbiome. Without enough estrogen, the vagina becomes less acidic.
Right.
And that makes it harder for those helpful lactobacillus, the good guys, to dominate. This shift, this imbalance makes you more susceptible to things like bacterial vaginosis or BV.
Okay.
And yeast infections, too, even urinary tract infections, UTIs. It's like the local defense system gets weakened.
So it's not just discomfort, it's a real increased risk of infections.
Precisely. And it doesn't quite stop there. Estrogen also helps with collagen production, which is important for tissue health and elasticity. So lower levels mean tissues might become less resilient, more prone to those little abrasions, just general sensitivity. It really is kind of a domino effect.
Yeah, you can see how it all connects. And I can easily imagine how all that physical stuff, the discomfort, the potential for infections coming back, could really weigh on your emotional well-being, too.
Oh, absolutely. It can impact confidence, intimacy, just your overall quality of life. It's so important to recognize these aren't just, isolated physical symptoms. They can have a real emotional and psychological dimension, maybe adding to the stress of managing Turner syndrome overall.
Okay, so it's clear that prioritizing vaginal health isn't just a minor detail. It's actually really significant for women with Turner syndrome. What are the main upsides if you do make this a focus?
Well, the most immediate benefit, often is just a reduction in those troublesome infections and the discomfort.
Yeah.
By actively managing things, working to restore balance, keep tissues healthy, you can often experience fewer issues with dryness, BV, yeast, UTIs.
That alone sounds like a massive relief just in terms of daily feeling.
It really is. And that ties right into the next benefit, just feeling more comfortable and confident. When you're not dealing with chronic irritation or pain, it naturally boosts how you feel about yourself, your emotional state. Feeling good in your own body, it makes such a difference.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Are there other advantages?
Well, a stable vaginal environment also means stronger local immune defenses.
How so?
When the microbiome is balanced and inflammation is down, your body's just better equipped right there to fend off unwanted microbes. It's like reinforcing the frontline security in that specific area.
Okay.
And ultimately, all these things together just contribute to a better overall quality of life. Being comfortable, confident, not constantly battling infections. It improves daily life, relationships, just your general sense of well-being while managing Turner syndrome.
Okay, so we get why it's important. Let's talk how. How can women with Turner syndrome proactively manage their vaginal health? What strategies should they be thinking about?
Yeah, the best approach is usually holistic, looking at different parts of your lifestyle, plus potential interventions. Now, hormone therapy, like estrogen replacement, obviously needs medical guidance, but it can be really helpful for some. But there are also quite a few self-care strategies that can make a real difference day to day.
Like what? Give us some practical things.
Well, basics first. Balanced nutrition and staying hydrated. Super fundamental. Eating nutrient-rich foods supports your hormones, your immune system. Things like antioxidants, healthy fats, lean proteins help tissue health, and drinking enough water helps keep those mucous membranes, moist and elastic.
Makes sense. The input always affects the output, right?
Yeah.
What about other lifestyle things?
Regular exercise is good, improves circulation, which can positively influence hormonal balance, and really importantly, managing stress.
Ah, the stress connection again.
Yeah, things like yoga, meditation, even just short walks can help lower cortisol. Lower stress hormones can positively impact your overall hormone regulation and indirectly your vaginal health too.
That's fascinating. Okay, what about specific hygiene practices?
Gentle is the key word there. Generally, avoid douching completely. It just disrupts that natural bacterial balance.
Right.
Same goes for scented products. Soaps, sprays, even pads or tampons with fragrance can be irritating. Mild, fragrance-free cleansers are much better.
Good tip.
And things like wearing breathable cotton underwear, changing out of damp workout clothes or swimwear quickly, that helps reduce moisture buildup that can encourage microbial imbalances.
Simple but probably effective advice. And what if things do feel a bit off, like you suspect an infection?
Prompt action is really key. If you notice unusual discharge, odor, itching, get it checked out early. Treating bacterial or yeast infections quickly and properly prevents chronic inflammation and further disruption, which is extra important when low estrogen already makes things more sensitive.
Got it. And you mentioned estrogen therapy earlier.
Yes, definitely something to discuss with a healthcare provider. Sometimes low-dose vaginal estrogen is recommended. It can directly address dryness and support tissue health right there.
Ah, localized.
Exactly. It often provides targeted relief without the same systemic effects as taking estrogen orally. Worth asking your doctor about if dryness is a major issue.
Okay, that covers a lot of the general strategies.
Yeah.
Now, our sources also mentioned probiotic support. How can probiotics specifically help here, especially with the lower estrogen and Turner syndrome?
Right. Probiotics, particularly those with the lactobacillus strains, those good bacteria we keep mentioning, can be really beneficial for that vaginal ecosystem.
How do they work?
They work in a few key ways. First, they literally help replenish the good lactobacillus population.
Okay, boost the good guys.
Exactly. Which is so important for maintaining that acidic environment, the one that naturally discourages the less desirable microbes from overgrowing.
Makes sense.
And by helping restore that balance, probiotics can also help reduce inflammation and irritation in the vaginal tissues. A healthy microbial community helps regulate the local immune response, which minimizes chronic inflammation, and we know that can worsen dryness and sensitivity.
And what about those really frustrating recurring infections?
Yeah, probiotics can play a pretty significant role there too. By fostering a healthy, stable microbial community, there's just less opportunity for BV, yeast infections, and UTIs to get a foothold.
Ah, preventative.
It can offer much-needed stability and comfort, especially when you're already navigating everything else with Turner syndrome.
Sounds like a really proactive way to support your body's natural defenses down there.
Absolutely. And it's not just about preventing infections. A healthy vaginal environment, supported by probiotics, also boosts local immunity and contributes to overall tissue health. That's really important when these hormone-related challenges might be ongoing.
So for women managing Turner syndrome.
Yeah, where low estrogen makes vaginal health a potential ongoing concern, probiotics offer this gentle, non-hormonal strategy to kind of reinforce those defenses and just improve daily comfort.
Okay, this brings us neatly to a specific product mentioned in our notes, Balance Complex, described as a targeted vaginal probiotic. What's the deal with this one? What makes it stand out?
Well, Balance Complex is formulated specifically for women's vaginal well-being. Apparently, it's been around for over 10 years, sold over 15 million capsules, so it seems quite established.
Okay.
It's highlighted in our notes as the only probiotic for women with 100 CFUG billion probiotics. CFUG meaning colony-forming units per gram, a measure of live bacteria.
100 billion per gram. Wow.
Yeah, and it also includes cranberry and D-mannose, which are often linked to urinary tract health support.
Ah, so potential double duty there, urinary and vaginal health.
Seems to be the idea. It also apparently has a lot of positive reviews online, over 17,800 five-star reviews on Amazon mentioned in the source.
That's quite a few.
It's described as a maximum strength 17-in-1 strain blend, targeting things like odor, itching, discharge. Plus, it notes it's non-GMO, made in FDA-registered GMP-certified facilities, quality control markers.
Right.
And it comes with a 100% satisfaction guarantee and mentions Amazon's refund policy.
Okay. Sounds comprehensive. Let's get into the specifics. What are the key ingredients in Balance Complex? What are they supposed to do?
All right, so the core is that vaginal probiotic blend. The 100 billion CFUs per gram. It includes several key lactobacillus strains.
Good guys again.
Exactly. Lactobacillus acidophilus, known for maintaining that crucial acidic pH. Lactobacillus rhamnosus, linked to boosting immune responses and reducing inflammation. Lactobacillus reuteri supports microbial stability, maybe helps tissue healing. Lactobacillus plantarum offers antioxidant protection for tissue resilience. And Bacillus coagulans helps contribute to a more stable balance over time.
That's a pretty targeted probiotic lineup. What else is in there besides the probiotic?
Okay, so beyond that, there's the cranberry and D-mannose blend. Like we said, often used to help stop bad bacteria from sticking to urinary tract and vaginal walls, potentially cutting down UTI risk.
Right.
Then there's oregano leaf extract, has natural antimicrobial properties, can help control opportunistic microbes without necessarily harming the good ones.
Interesting. A natural balancer.
Seems like it. Caprylic acid is in there specifically to target yeast overgrowth, which can definitely be an issue when things are off balance. Then you have protease and cellulase. These are enzymes that help break down bacterial biofilms.
Biofilms, like protective shields for bad bacteria.
Exactly. Makes it harder for them to thrive and easier for the probiotics to work. And aloe vera leaf is added for soothing, reducing irritation, inflammation, supporting healing. Could be really helpful for that dryness and sensitivity from low estrogen.
Yeah, that sounds useful. They seem to have thought about common complaints. Anything else in the mix?
A few more. Arabinogalactone is there to help boost the immune response, support natural defenses. Aniseed offers antimicrobial and anti-inflammatory benefits. Black walnut hulls act as a natural antifungal antibacterial agent. Wormwood is included to support immune resilience and balanced flora. And finally, reishi mushroom, known for reducing inflammation and enhancing immunity, which helps with tissue maintenance and comfort.
Wow, that is a lot packed in there, each seemingly with a specific job. So let's tie it back directly to Turner syndrome. How could something like Balance Complex with all these components specifically support women dealing with this?
Well, it really seems designed to address those key vulnerabilities we discussed. The probiotic blend directly tackles restoring that microbial balance and acidic pH, which is crucial when low estrogen weakens those natural defenses.
Right, shoring up the defenses.
Exactly. Then the anti-inflammatory ingredients like aloe and reishi can help soothe the dryness, the itching, the tissue fragility that often come with lower estrogen.
Providing some comfort.
Definitely. And by promoting that stable microbiome, it could help prevent those recurring infections, BV, yeast, UTIs, leading to maybe a more predictable, comfortable daily experience. And finally, those ingredients supporting immunity and tissue integrity could help women with Turner syndrome face the challenges of low estrogen with a bit more resilience, maintaining comfort and confidence.
So it's providing targeted support for the specific weak spots that lower estrogen can create in this context.
That seems to be the goal. But it's really important to stress again, while a product like Balance Complex might be a helpful tool, it's just one piece of the puzzle for managing Turner syndrome. Hormone therapy options, diet, exercise, stress management, and definitely regular checkups and guidance from healthcare providers, they all play vital roles in overall health and well-being.
Right. It's about integrating this kind of support into a bigger holistic picture.
Exactly. Combining targeted support like this with medical advice and positive lifestyle habits probably offers the best chance for long-term stability and comfort, helping lessen those indirect impacts of Turner syndrome on vaginal health and ultimately improving quality of life.
Now, speaking of resources, our notes also mention vaginalquiz.com. Tell us about that.
Vaginalquiz.com. Yeah, that's vaginalquiz.com. It's presented as this quick, science-backed quiz. The idea is it gives you a personalized vaginal health analysis in supposedly under 2 minutes.
Okay, so who is that for?
It sounds like it's for anyone experiencing maybe discomfort, dryness, odor, or just that feeling that something's off, to get some initial clues about what might be going on.
Like a first step to understanding those symptoms that can be kind of confusing.
Exactly. It's described as fast, free, private, and specifically for women wanting answers about their intimate wellness. You answer questions, and then it gives you a custom breakdown, your potential vaginal health profile, maybe highlighting imbalances, and offering expert-backed suggestions based on your symptoms and lifestyle.
Suggestions like?
Could be anything from supplement ideas to daily habits that might help restore balance.
So instead of maybe falling down an internet search rabbit hole or feeling unsure about whether to book a doctor's appointment for something seemingly minor, this gives you a starting point.
That seems to be the aim. It's framed as like a cheat sheet for understanding your body better without needing an immediate appointment or wading through tons of online info. It encourages you to be more aware and give some initial tailored guidance.
Okay.
So for anyone listening who resonates with those kinds of vague or persistent vaginal health concerns, it sounds like it could be a useful first stop just to get a bit more insight.
Yeah, sounds like a potentially helpful tool for becoming more aware and maybe taking that first proactive step.
Absolutely. It's all about empowerment, right? Understanding your own body better to make informed choices about your health.
So just to kind of wrap things up, we've really dug into how Turner syndrome's impact on estrogen can specifically affect vaginal health. We've stressed how important a holistic approach is: lifestyle, medical guidance, the whole picture.
Definitely.
And we've looked at how targeted support, maybe like a comprehensive probiotic like Balance Complex, could potentially help restore balance, reduce inflammation, and prevent infections in that context.
That's a great summary. It really boils down to recognizing that even the less discussed aspects of a condition like Turner syndrome can significantly impact daily life. But by taking proactive steps, lifestyle, medical help, maybe targeted supplements, women can absolutely work towards maintaining comfort, confidence, and overall well-being.
It really does underscore how interconnected everything in our health is, doesn't it? Thinking about this delicate balance and how a genetic difference can ripple outwards like this makes you think about all the other subtle ways our bodies are constantly striving for equilibrium.
That's a really insightful thought to end on. It prompts you to consider that bigger health picture, how seemingly small or localized things might connect to broader factors. It's a good reminder that understanding our bodies and seeking knowledge is, well, it's an ongoing journey.